we begin, please grab a block or something as a headrest. So it can be a block, a pillow, a blanket. You will need a blanket roll or a towel roll. And that's gonna be for just like at the beginning, we're gonna put it behind our legs. Hello everybody, welcome back to yoga. My name is Ashley. And today we are doing a sequence I titled Moving Forward. And today's class is not gentle or chill, but it is an inward directed yoga practice to prepare for meditation. So in yoga, I think we hear a lot that opening the front body or side bodies is really important, but we don't always hear as much about opening the back body. And this might be due to, in large part, us as a society, we're pretty much always like forward folded anyway, and we're not really doing as much back bending or side bending as we are forward folding. But that being said, it's still really important to stretch the muscles of the back body, such as the bottoms of the feet, calves, hamstrings, glutes, lower back, middle back, upper back, backs of the shoulders, arms, and the back of the neck. So energetically, this is considered an inward directed yoga practice, and as their opposite back bends are considered an outward directed yoga practice. So inward moving yoga practice, like with the four folds and twists and hip openers and things like that, even if they are more difficult, they still have a tendency to calm the nervous system and to bring us kind of a sense of like inward focusedness, hence the name of this class. So energetically, the back side of the body is related to the direction west, and it's also known as the direction of endings or of the past. And so a question of self-inquiry that's really great to ask ourselves during a practice like this is, what may I still be holding on to from my past that might be keeping me from moving forward to my goals or to what I desire in life, and so on. And I planned this class before I realized that this week is Diwali, and Diwali is the festival of lights. And there's this whole idea about letting go and inviting in new energy. So I thought that was perfect. So let's go ahead and practice. Feel free to close your eyes or gaze at a point out in front of you. Connect to your natural breath. And just begin by noticing how you're feeling in this moment, becoming aware of any emotions that might be present for you today, thoughts or physical sensations, how you're doing spiritually. And just use this knowledge of yourself to help guide you through your practice. Allow yourself to skip postures as necessary and to add or subtract from any postures that you'd like throughout the practice. As a way of stepping into our practice, we'll sing the sound Om A-U-M one time. Feel free to join your palms in front of your heart. Take a full breath in. Exhale completely. Inhale again. Ooh. Release your hands, open your eyes. Let's begin on all fours, hands and knees for cat and cow. Line up your wrists with your shoulders, your knees with your hips. Then begin to round your spine, bringing your tailbone through your legs, chin toward your chest, lifting your upper back high. And on your inhale, reverse the movement, curling into your lower, middle, then upper back. Lift your chin and broaden your sitting bones apart. This is a great series, couple of postures to do before any kind of yoga practice, as it helps to open up the spine in all directions. After a few rounds, feel free to stay doing that or start to move your hips and shoulders, head and neck a little more organically, swinging hips side to side, roll your head, your shoulders. Do crazy eights. Couple more breaths. right, come back to a neutral spine, bring your knees and ankles together, curl your toes under, and then slide your knees back and have a seat on your feet. Interlace your fingers in front of your heart, clamp your fingers closed, then place the backs of your hands on top of your head, squeeze your shoulder blades toward each other, and then pull your hands away from each other as you push your arms towards straight. Thunderbolt. Move your rib cage back, tailbone forward, reach up through your palms. Alrighty, here we're stretching the soles of the feet, getting ready to move all the way up the body on the back side. It's going to be awesome. Take your hands back to the floor, then grab your blanket roll and stand up, but bend your knees, take your feet about hip distance apart, and then take the blanket roll behind your knees. Make sure you're standing further back on your mat so you'll have padding when we lower the knees to the floor. Bend your knees a lot, lift your heels up and lower your hands out in front of you. Walk your hands forward and take your knees down, and then the tops of your feet on the floor, and have a seat as far back as feels best for you. That might mean stay a little bit forward, leaning on your hands or using blocks under your hands to push weight into. So just lean back, breathe, don't hold your breath, and just kind of allow your calves to relax and rest, and try to let the tension melt away with your breath. We're going to roll the blanket roll down a couple more times after this hold. This is helping to set up fascia opening along the entire back side of the body, all the way up from the bottoms of the feet, all the way up through the top of the head and behind the eyeballs. Lean forward, roll your blanket roll back to about halfway down your calf muscle, and have a seat. And take a few breaths here. Slow and steady. Good. Sit up nice and tall if you can. Even if you're leaning forward on your hands, keep your spine long. And lean forward, roll it back one more time so it's just above your heels, and then sit back. And one of those positions might have been more intense than any of the others. For most people, it's the first and second position that we were in that are the most intense. And this position tends to be the least for people. But that being said, it could be the worst for you. All right, lean forward, take your blanket roll out. We're going to come up into downward facing dog. Lift your knees up, walk your feet back, tone your thighs, lift your kneecaps, and then slowly take your heels back toward the floor and toward where the wall is behind you. Push your hands down and forward, feet down and back. Draw your rib cage back and your tailbone toward your heels. Take some slow and deep breaths. I'm going to get into some flow stuff here in a moment. Sideways dog, take the outer edge of your right foot and the inner edge of your left foot to the floor. Push through your big toe and pinky toe edges of your feet as you reach your arms longer, legs longer. Just like when we do back bends, we want to open up a little on the side body to help us with our forward folds, just the same. Switch sides, outer edge of your left foot, inner edge of your right foot. Reach inner and outer foot toward the floor. Stretch the sides of your body long. Back to center. Step your feet to your hands, and then take your hands outside, or your feet outside your hands, and then bend your knees so your ribs and thighs touch. Grab onto your elbows and fold forward. Feel free to stay still or swing side to side if it feels okay on your back and on your legs. Get some traction in your spine. And come back to center. Bend your knees, place hands on hips, move your shoulders back and stand up. Bring your feet together. Inhale your arms all the way up over your head. Then on your exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, step or jump back, downward dog. Pick up your right leg high. Then step your right foot outside your right hand for dog lunge, back heel to the floor. Walk your hands forward and to your left. Widen your right knee to the right. Push your left foot down like you're dragging it to the right side of your mat. Walk your hands back under your shoulders, then step your back foot in one step, turn your back toe sharply forward into your left, and then square your hips and torso over your right leg as you push your right leg to or towards straight. Tone your thighs, lift your kneecaps, lift and lengthen your spine, and then forward fold, heart first, head last, over your right leg. Parjava Tanasana, pyramid pose. Your arms can either be out in front of you straight or back behind you straight. Just breathe here. Breathe into the backs of your legs. Breathe into the back of your spine. Downward dog. Lift your left leg high and step your left foot outside your left hand. Back heel to the floor, dog lunge. Walk your hands forward and to your right. Widen left knee to the left, push your right foot down and toward the left. Push your arms longer. Let your head drop. Slow your breathing. Deepen your breath. Walk your hands back, step your right foot forward one step, turn your right toe sharply forward and to the right, work your left leg towards straight and square your hips and torso over your left leg. Lengthen your spine on an inhale, then exhale, fold forward, heart first, head last, face toward your shin. Maybe walk your arms out in front of you or back behind you. Downward facing dog. From your down dog, bring your feet together, shift forward, top of a push-up. Feel free to lower your knees to the floor, lower halfway down, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, either cobra or upward facing dog. Lift up through your sternum, move your shoulders back, lift your chin. Then press back, downward facing dog. Pick up your right leg high. And step your right foot outside your right hand like you just did before. Back heel to the floor. This time, lift your torso, interlace your fingers behind your back, squeeze your shoulder blades toward each other, work your arms towards straight. Then tone your abdomen around your spine and fold inside your right leg, either shoulder to knee or shoulder inside knee, right ear somewhere along your inner right calf. And breathe here. From here, lengthen your spine, then drop your right hand outside your right heel. Work your right leg towards straight. Feel free to step your back foot back if you need to and turn your left toes out to the left. Tone and turn your abdomen toward the ceiling for triangle pose. Reach your left arm up. Push your legs longer. Even if your right leg doesn't straighten it, do your best to straighten it. Tone your thighs, lift your kneecap. Lengthen through the top of your head. Out through all four limbs. Lower your hand, press back, downward facing dog. From your down dog, lift your left leg high. Step your left foot outside your left hand. Back heel to the floor. Lift your torso. Interlace your fingers behind your back. Squeeze your shoulder blades toward each other. Arms towards straight, ribs back. Tone your abdomen, round forward. Humble warrior, second side. Remember, shoulder either on your knee or inside your knee. Inhale, slowly halfway lift. Take your left hand outside your left heel. Work your left leg towards straight. Feel free to hop your right foot back a little bit. Tone and turn your abdomen toward the ceiling. Reach your right arm toward the ceiling. Breathe here. Press tailbone forward, torso back. Lower your hands. Downward dog. Bring feet together. Vinyasa, shift forward, plank pose. Lower halfway down, chaturanga. Inhale, cobra or up dog. Lift up, shoulders back, curl back. Press back, downward dog. Take a moment, breathe here. All right, bring your right leg high. Last one like this. Step your right foot outside your right hand. Spin your back heel to the floor. Either take right forearm to thigh or right hand on top or outside your right foot. Extend your left arm beyond your ear. Tone and turn your abdomen toward the ceiling. Push through your back foot. Reach through your left arm. Parivritta or Parjava Konasana, not Parivritta. Yeah, good. Breathe here. Inhale, come up. Warrior two. Stay sideways, widen right knee to the right. Gaze beyond your right middle finger. Soften your jaw, your neck, your eyes. Downward dog. Step your left leg forward after lifting it up. Back heel to the floor. Side angle, left hand either outside your foot or arm on thigh. Reach your right arm beyond your ear. Push through your back foot. Reach through your right arm. Don't hold your breath. Virabhadrasana 2. Come up. Widen left knee to the left. Be as sideways as possible. Push through your back foot. Gaze beyond your left fingertips. And breathe. Downward dog to vinyasa, plank pose. Lower halfway down, chaturanga. Inhale, cobra or up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Should be some heat at least building in your body by now. Step to the middle of your mat and then turn on your mat so your toes point to the long edge. Bend your knees, place your palms flat, step or jump your feet into a wide stance. Prasarda Tanasana, wide-legged forward fold. Lengthen your spine first, then walk your hands further back between your feet. Bend your elbows, reach heart first, head last, in between your legs. Pull your shoulders away from the floor and onto your back. Push evenly through the inner and outer edges of both of your feet. Rotate your inner thighs back and wide, and then act as if you're going to kick your own bottom with your heels. Tone the backs of your legs. Next, inhale, lengthen your spine. Place hands on hips, shoulders back, and slowly stand up. Take your arms wide to the side. Turn your left toes in sharply. Turn your right toes out, and then take your right hand to hip, left arm straight up toward the ceiling. Take your right hand, either keep it on your hip or place your palm flat on your sacrum, and then twist to your right. Take your left hand inside or outside your right foot. Draw right hip back, left hip forward. Revolve triangle. Stay here or reach your right arm toward the ceiling. Try to keep your head in line with your spine, arms and legs longer. From here, standing split, take your hands to surround your right foot and then step into your right foot. Take your hands under your shoulders first and then lift your left leg either parallel to the floor or work your left leg toward the ceiling. Take your right hand or your forearm around the back of your right leg, and then you can either keep your left hand a little out in front of you, or harder is to take your left hand level with your right foot like it's another foot, and then push through your right foot and left hand to kick your left leg higher. Try to turn your left toes and kneecap toward the floor. Really turning on and engaging the backs of your legs. Slowly bend your right knee, step way back into your wide stance. Stand up, hands to hips, turn your right toes in sharply, turn your left toes out, take your right arm straight up, move left hip back, right hip forward, left hand maybe to the lower back sacrum area, twist to your left, right hand to inside or outside your left foot on the floor. Draw left hip back, right hip forward, keep twisting, maybe lift your left arm. Standing split, take your hands to surround your left foot, and then step into your left leg, arms out in front of you, lift your right leg high. Then do or don't, walk your hands back, bend your left knee slightly to grab onto your left leg. Work your left leg to or towards straight as you reach your right leg toward the ceiling. Pull yourself closer to your left leg. Tone the backs of your legs, push through your left leg, reach up through your right leg. Don't hold your breath. Step way back, stand up, turn your left toes in. All right, turn your right toes out, turn your left toes sharply forward and to your left. Bend your right knee, everyone's favorite, least favorite. Take your left arm up, crescent a little to your right, and then twist. Take your armpit outside your knee as best as you can. If that's too much, feel free to go for left hand inside foot and just do the twist this way. Otherwise, join your palms in front of your heart. Move your shoulder blades onto your back and lift up through your sternum. Breathe here. You can stay here or take your left hand to the floor, right arm toward the ceiling, and then reach your right arm beyond your ear for the full expression of the pose. Parivritta, Parjava Konasana. All right, this is going to be a doozy because your right leg's probably already killing you. Untwist. Take your hands to your hips first, and then step left foot forward. Work your right leg straight for a moment and lean back onto your left leg. You'll thank me later. Bend your right knee, place your right foot flat, lean forward, square your hips forward, reach your arms out in front of you. Torso, arms parallel to the floor, lift your left leg parallel to the floor too. Your right knee can be bent or straight. If your right leg is straight, tone your thigh, lift your kneecap, warrior three. Step way back, stand up, hands down, turn your right toes in, left toes out, right arm up, lean to the left and twist. Take armpit outside knee or right hand to the floor and twist. Ooh, don't fall. Join your palms in front of your heart. Stay working here. Or lower your right hand to the floor, left arm up. Reach your left arm beyond your ear. Keep breathing. All right, unbind or untwist. And then stand up. Step your right foot in. Lean back on your right foot for a moment. Then lean forward. If you're going to run into a wall, make sure you step back. Take your arms straight out in front of you. Right leg straight back. Lift your back leg parallel, torso parallel to the floor. Do or don't straighten your left leg. Step way back. Stand up. Turn to face the long edge of your mat. Very good. Bring your fingertips in front of your chest, bend your knees, step or jump. Feet together, arms by your side. All right, crescent pose. Reach your arms over your head, interlace fingers, extend pointer finger, cross your thumbs, reach tall. Push evenly through your inner feet, lean your hips to your left, torso to your right. Inhale, reach back up. Switch sides. Feel free to switch the clasp of your hands. Hips to the right, torso to the left. Evenly pushing through your feet. Inhale, back up. Lower your arms by your side. Vrikshasana, tree pose. Take right foot along the inner edge of your left leg. Push foot into leg, leg into foot. Palms in front of your heart. Stay working here or reach your arms over your head. Push through the inner and outer edges of your left foot. Push through your heel just as much as you push through the ball of your foot. Tone your left thigh, lift your kneecap, but really focus. Feel on the back side of your standing leg. Your whole back leg is turned on, most likely. Breathe here. All right, from here, we're going right into Gardasana. Bend your left knee. Cross your right knee over your left knee. Maybe hook your foot. Then take your right arm under your left arm. Hold shoulders, join backs of hands or palms. If you need to come out to come into the other one, feel free. Lift up through your sternum, move your shoulders back, lift up through your chin. We won't be here too long. Stand up, arms by your side. Great. All right, take your left foot to your inner right thigh. Push foot into leg, leg into foot. Hold your gaze steady somewhere. Palms in front of your heart. Tone standing thigh, lift your kneecap. Tilt your left knee toward the floor. Maybe reach your arms up. Feel that whole back side of your standing leg rooting down. Root down to rise up. Not only lift the front side of your torso, but lift the back. All right, bend your right knee. Cross left knee over right knee. Keep your gaze steady. Cross left arm under right arm. Hold shoulders, join backs of hands or palms. Keep your gaze focused somewhere out in front of you. Mountain pose, Tadasana. All right, downward facing dog. It gets better, like in a good way. And I really mean that. It's like a wave of a class. We started soft, got a little hard, and then we're gonna go softer again. And then maybe get a little harder again. All right, take your right knee behind your right wrist. Lower your left knee to the floor, slide it back, and then lower your forearms to the floor. This is where your block can come in handy. You can use your block underneath your forehead, taking it to a height that is appropriate for your neck, and just rest it there, and let your neck relax. A lot of times, so we don't realize that our back of our neck muscles are always working so hard to look at screens and to look up at the sky and to look left and right, the whole neck really, but I think the backs of our necks tend to suffer the most because it's constantly trying to hold our head in place. And it's kind of funny that today my neck is messed up, but yeah, so just keep focusing on relaxing that entire back side of your neck, allowing the block to support you. And if you don't need a block, you can always just rest your head on your hands as well. A few more breaths here. Lift your head back up and then press back to downward dog. Slide your left knee forward. Lower your right knee to the floor, slide it back. And squeeze your knees in, lower your forearms, take your head to your block or to your hands, relax the back of your neck. Just allowing the back of your neck to stretch. This is a great spot to insert the question of maybe what are you holding on to that might be preventing you from moving forward? Or what is difficult to let go of that is keeping you from letting certain new things in? And neither of those things could be true for you. They could be and they could not be true. It's just an invitation to inquire. Lift your head back up, and then come back to down dog. Keep your block close by somewhere. And then take your knees to the floor. Swing your legs straight out in front of you. Again, keeping your block close by your hands. Janu Shirshasana. Grab my notes. All right, from here, take your left knee to the left. And then rotate your inner thighs down, outer hips up on both legs. And then turn your torso toward your right leg. Take your block inside your right leg, somewhere near your knee. You'll need to move it based on where your head goes when you fold forward. So take your hands just to surround your right leg, and then walk your fingers forward. If you've already passed your block, just move it under your head. And then let your head drop wherever you can drop it on your block. And then let your arms for today just relax toward the floor. But for today, do keep the back of your right leg active, pushing your heel down and toward your hip. An active stretch for your right leg. So it's kind of like half yin, the upper side of our body. The upper half is relaxed completely, and then the lower half we're keeping engaged. Then lift your head up, take your block somewhere to the side, and then turn to the left. Take your right hand to your left knee, left hand behind you, twist to the left. Take your left arm up and lean to your right. Feel free to stay here. Take your right hand inside your right leg. Maybe drop your forearm to the floor. Maybe feel free to go all the way to your right side, to your right thigh. If you're going side to thigh, feel free to grab the outer edge of your foot with your top hand and the inner edge with your bottom hand. Otherwise, just be here. Push through your left hip as you reach through your left arm. And slowly come back up. Sit up tall. Take your left leg out in front of you. Take your right knee to the right. And again, just make sure your sitting bones are even, and then place your block somewhere inside your left leg. And then turn toward your left leg and fold forward. Taking your hands to surround your leg, maybe taking forehead to the block. Relax your arms, engage your legs. Push your left heel down and toward your hip. And push your right knee down and in toward your left leg. Next inhale, slowly sit up. Take your block to the side. turn to your right, left hand to your right knee, right hand behind you, twist. Then take right arm up, lean to your left. And again, maybe take left hand or forearm inside your leg or go all the way side to thigh. Push through your sitting bones, reach through your right arm, and breathe. If you're grabbing the foot, it's left hand inside edge, right hand outside edge of left foot. And then slowly come back up. Extend your right leg forward. We're going to start going uphill again on our roller coaster. Grab your left foot from the inner and outer edge. Take your left shin parallel to the floor. Take your left knee back behind you and then step your left hip back as well. And then take your left arm and push it down into your left shin as you push your shin back into your arm. Keep your shoulders moving back, lift your lower back in and up, and lift up through your chest. Stay working here, or use your hands to pull your foot toward your face while you use your outer hip to turn your knee toward the left. And maybe take your foot to your ear without moving your head forward or to the side. Just keep your head in a neutral position. This is prep for a Karnadana. Take your knee back and then your foot forward. Grab your right foot, inner and outer edge. Take your shin parallel to the floor, pull your knee back, slide your right hip back, and then take your right arm on top of your right shin, push foot into hands, hands into foot, lift your lower back in and up. Take a couple breaths. And then use your hands to pull your foot toward your face as you use your outer right hip to point your knee to the right. Take your foot toward your ear without moving your head. Your head is like stone. Keep it there. Unmovable or immovable, whatever the correct English term is. Take your leg forward. All right. Now, grab your big toes with your first two fingers on your thumbs. Feel free to bend your knees. I like bending my knees more than I like straightening them on this pose, so feel free to do what's best. Now push down through your heels, lift up through your lower back, and lift up through your sternum. Push your right heel down and pull it back as you lift your left leg up. Push foot into hand, hand into foot, and draw your left knee back, keeping your knee pointing up. Push foot into hand, hand into foot. Now open left knee to the left as you pull your foot toward your ear without moving your head. Hold. Take your leg out, then up, then down. Second side, push your left heel down, lift your right leg up, push foot into hand, hand into foot, then pull your right knee back, bow and arrow, hold. Open right knee to the right, foot toward your ear, don't move your head. Take leg straight out to the right, then straight up, then lower your foot. Let go. Take your legs straight. All right, here it goes. So I'm gonna turn and face the camera, but I'm not mirroring you. Excuse me. Pull your right knee in, and then grab your right foot from the inner and outer edge, and then take your foot up. Just like you did the first round. Pull your right knee back, and then take your right arm under your right leg. Then take your knee as high up on your shoulder as you can, and then clamp your heel toward your hip. Take your hands to the floor. From here, cross your left ankle over your right ankle, lean forward, squeeze the knees toward each other, bend your elbows slightly, lift up through your sternum. You can use your feet and your hands to push down to lift your hips, then squeeze your knees in, then straighten your legs. Whew. Ashtavakrasana. Bend your knees, lower down. Awesome. Second side. Grab your left foot, pull your knee to the left. Take your left arm under your left leg, shoulders back, lift your lower back in and up, clamp your heel toward your hip, pull your shoulder against your leg. Take your hands to the floor, bend your right knee, cross ankle over ankle, squeeze your knees toward each other, lean forward. Push your hands and feet down to lift your hips up, and then squeeze your knees in, stay here, or walk your feet out, straighten your legs. Then bend your knees, lower your hips. It's like a nice, easier way of getting into it than just pushing right up into it with just your arms. All right, heron pose. Go ahead and sit normal, whatever normal is, and then pull your right knee to the right, like Janu Shirshasana, and then take your hands under your left knee and pull your left knee in, point it up. Grab from inside and outside your foot, lean back toward behind your sitting bones, and then push your leg towards straight. Heron pose. Heron's a bird. Push your foot up into your hands down into your foot to really activate the back of your leg. Then from here, what you can do is stay like this, or take your left wrist, the top of your wrist, to the bottom of your foot, and then grab onto your right wrist with your left hand. And then take your right first finger and thumb together for a mudra. You can stay here, or bend your elbows wide, take your chin and shin toward each other. Ideally taking your chin more to your shin than your chin, taking your shin to your chin more than your chin to your shin. Man, that was a doozy. All right, lower your foot. Extend your leg forward. Tongue twister. Take your left knee to the left. And then grab onto your right knee, pull it in. Grab your foot from the inner and outer edge, lean back. Then push your leg to or towards straight. Your leg can stay bent, totally fine. Push, foot and hands and a foot. Lift up through your sternum. Pull your shoulders back. Great. Then widen your elbows to the side. You might just take your chin and shin toward each other here, or take right wrist on top of left foot, left wrist holding on with your right hand. Push your foot into your hands and your foot. Lift up, grow your leg longer, and then try to take your shin to your chin. Breathe. And bend your knee. Lower your foot. Extend your legs out straight. All right. Take a wide seat facing the long edge of your mat for Uppavishta Konasana. Going back downhill now. Downhill for good. And then take your block out in front of you. If you're using your block, you can also use a bolster. And that's for your head again. Then from here, you can totally stay leaning back on your hands. You're still getting a stretch to the backs of the legs. If you'd like to add the stretch to the back, fold forward. And try going for a longer spine rather than a rounded spine for today. And maybe drop your head to your block. And there will be a slight rounding. Just emphasizing the length first is what's important here today. Inhale, slowly come back up. And then grab underneath your knees, pull your legs in. Take your right shin on top of your left shin, and then drop your right shin on top of your shin like so. If that's not going to work out, feel free to wedge a block or a blanket or something under your right thigh, your top thigh, so that your leg can still relax to the side. So, whichever one you're in, you can also take your right shin in front of your left shin for that variation too. Whenever you're ready, again, you can stay upright, just enjoying and receiving this hip stretch, or fold forward. If you'd like to use your block as you fold forward, or another block, if you're already using one, go ahead and use that. Maybe take your forehead to your block. Push through the inner edges of your feet out to the sides of your mat, and then push through the outer edges of your feet into the floor or into your leg to lift your outer ankles up. This is Agni Stambhasana, fire logs. Slowly come back up. Switch the cross of your legs so your other shin is on top or in front. And push through your big toe mounds, lift your outer ankles up, and fold forward. Take forehead to block or forehead to the floor if it reaches. Go wherever feels best for you. And breathe. Inhale, sit up. Take your legs straight out in front of you. I'm turning back to face the long edge so that you can see. All right, from here, take your right knee in and then cross your right heel outside your left hip. Try to get your heel as close to your left hip as possible, and then point your right toes so the outer edge of your pinky toe is on the floor. And again, you can either use like your blanket roll underneath your shin, like so. That's very helpful. Or you can interlace your fingers around your shin and pull up if your knee does not want to go all the way down. If your knee goes all the way down, great. Then you can stay working here or forward fold as you squeeze your heel to your outer left hip and then reach your torso forward. And again, there's not really as much access to lower your head to a block on this one, so just let your head drop to whatever level it wants to drop to. Also, feel free to just keep your head in a neutral position. Feel free to grab your shin, your ankle, your foot, if any of those are available. And if your right foot keeps sliding forward, you can also use your left wrist in front of your ankle to hold it in place. And slowly sit back up. Take your right leg forward, tone your thigh, lift your kneecap. Pull your left knee in, and then cross your left heel outside your right hip. And again, maybe put your blanket roll under your shin, or interlace your fingers under your shin, or take your knee all the way down to your other knee. Squeeze your heel into your hip, and then fold forward at your own rate, in your own way. Feel free to grab shin, ankle, or foot with one or both of your hands. And take slow, steady breaths. Maybe again ask, what am I holding on to? What can I let go of? Slowly sit back up. Take your left leg forward. Tanasana. Walk your sitting bones back. And then bend your knees if you need to. You can also use a blanket roll underneath your rib cage instead of bending your knees if you'd like to get the back of the leg stretch. I really like this one. And then grab your shins, ankles, or your feet. If your ribs are to your thighs or if your ribs are on a blanket, first re-lengthen your spine. Widen your elbows to the side, and then fold forward, squeezing your shoulder blades on your back, and then dropping your head. If you're up on a blanket roll, you can also take your block underneath your head to whatever level you need, so you can change the height of the block and hold onto the block with your hands if you'd like. If you have the ribs to the blanket, it's just a little bit harder to get your forehead to your knees. So having the block nearby is helpful. Take slow, steady breaths, breathing into the backside of your body. Slowly lengthen your spine here and sit up. Take your blanket roll, unroll it, and then make yourself a little cushion for your bottom. Unless you have a meditation cushion, you can use that. So just make it a little padding for your bottom and have a seat on your blanket. We're doing 5 minutes silent meditation. So there's no talking, just breathing. And try not to focus on anything other than the place between your thoughts. Maybe, without forcing it, an answer could come up for you of sorts, maybe to the question you might have asked during practice today. And if that happens, do your best not to fixate too much on it. Just allow it to arise, see it, and then let it pass. Place your hands wherever comfortable, reach to the top of your head, and we'll begin. Feel free to stay here or come into a 3-minute Savasana. Begin to deepen and lengthen your breath. Bring gentle movements back into your body. Gently bend your knees and roll to one side. Use your arms to press yourself back to seated. Maybe you got an answer to your question. Maybe you didn't. Either way, that's okay. You made it to practice. Let's end with one Om. Feel free to join your palms. Take a full breath in. Exhale completely. Inhale again. Om. Feel free to place your hands over your heart. Take a moment here to acknowledge yourself, each other, this practice, and anyone or anything else. Take as much time as you need, and then gently open your eyes. Thank you all so much for coming to practice with me. Have a wonderful rest of your day.